Hello everybody. Right, I'm in Oldham. I'm actually on Hollands Road. Up there you've got, well, you can see the white art there on the right. And you can see Devon Mill there in the distance. And I'm actually on the corner of Clive Street. Now I'm here for a reason. Back in the 1700s, this area was called Little Town. And it was basically the houses in this area were all weavers' cottages, because that's what they generally were back then before the cotton boom. Majority of what people did, they were weavers. And within Little Town, with the actual last of the houses got demolished in 1936, I think. But within Little Town, which was in this area, there was an old wizard. His name was Witherspoon. I don't know if I've got that right. For some reason I can't seem to remember his name, but I'll put a correction if I ever need to. But basically he was a full-on wizard, and apparently what he did is he practised witchcraft in this area. He was notorious. And people used to say that he was a shapeshifter and he could change into all sorts of different animals. But one of the strangest things I worked out from him, the first mention of him is in the mid-1700s, yet people were still talking about him in the mid-1800s. So, and he was always described as a bony old man who apparently people were convinced had sold his soul to the devil. So, yeah, Little Town, this is what it was. I'm suspecting that this is probably where the last of the houses were that were knocked down, because it's a fairly modern development. But again, I could be completely bloody wrong. There could have been terrace here that knocked down over years. But we're going to go about our business today. We're going to do a few stops. I've got a few tales to tell, and we're also going to visit the grave of a ghost. Right, listen. Listen everyone, I tell you, no word of a lie. I've just got back in the micro. Right?
People are talking.
A bloke's just walked past with a wizard's beard and an hat on, dead thin, drawn, and kept staring at me in the car, and I thought, Jesus, it's Witherspoon. It's come for me. Oh, there he is. Can you see him in the rearview mirror? I don't turn round. He's walking off into the distance. You know, it's some poor fella going about his business. It just frightened me. Oh, God. Right, let's get to our next step. Everybody, I'm in Oldham. It's great weather here today, as you can see. Today I'm going to be doing a video. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it, but it's whatever I've called it. But it's basically a video which I'm just going to take you around a few sites and talk about the various different ghost stories, myths, legends. I've got some family stories that I'm going to be telling, stuff that's been handed down over the years. And I'm also going to be showing you an old ironworks up near Grinnickers, and one of the grids is still here. I just thought I'd show it you. Here we go. Wrong way. This grid, I don't know if you can see that, it's a fire tank. Joseph Toole of Oldham. He had Star Ironworks on Grinnickers Road. They're all over at Shaw. There's one over there as well. And they're really old. I mean, you know, the ironworks are gone now, aren't they? We don't have those industries in Oldham, mainly anywhere really anymore. So anyhow, I'm absolutely bleeding freezing. But I really want to bring these histories. We're going to visit some very, very familiar places, but I'm going to be giving you some different facts today. So I'm going to get up this street, side at Town Hall there out left. We're going up to the church, and I'm going to tell you a story about something in the church grounds. Oldham is empty today, absolutely empty. Oh God. So, do you see, I don't know if you can see that up there. See where the flag is? Look down, you can see like a plaque at the top. The date on that plaque for the building is 1718. 1718. So I don't know if that's a rebuild of an earlier building or whether it actually is that old. Oh God. I'll be back sitting again. Hey, I'll tell you what, everyone. You know, I keep going on about it, I know, but you know, I got hypnotised. Well, I'm still not boozing. Not interested. But I'm bloody restless in the evenings. My mind's going 10 to a dozen. So, this is one of the few cobble roads left in Oldham. This is Church Street. The weird thing is, if you Google Church Street, Oldham, this doesn't come up. It only brings one up in Leeds, which is really weird in my opinion. Anyhow, let's take you up into the church. Sorry if you're getting my umbrella, everyone, it's fleeing. Absolutely bleeding fleeing up here. Oh, Jesus. I feel like I've gone back into winter. Anyhow, this church stood on this hill for hundreds of years. Not this particular one. This one was built in the 1800s. 1820, I think. Or 1827. Same bloke that built Henshaw's Blue Coat. Anyhow, there's been a church stood on this ground for donkeys. But, do you see these? Again, do you see these gravestones? You'll have walked over them many times before. This person lived on Black Lane. Some of these gravestones are dated in the 1700s. And the reason why I brought this to your attention is that all of these gravestones were actually removed from St. Peter's. Now, St. Mary's, which this church is actually called St. Mary's and St. Peter. And I've told this story before. If you want to know the history, I've got plenty of videos about it on my channel. All of these gravestones were actually in the cemetery of St. Peter, or the graveyard of St. Peter's Church, which is where St. Peter's precinct used to stand, which is where, what's it called? Oh God, Spindle stands now. And what they did, they amalgamated the St. Peter's with the back of the church. I don't know if you can just see, right at the very end. I don't know if you can make it out, but the stone is a slightly different colour. And that's because the back vestry there is built from St. Peter's. And also at the same time, they laid this pavement basically with all the stones of all the bodies that they removed from St. Peter's. Now they reinterred some of the bodies, but there were a lot of the bodies that they couldn't reinter, and they took them to the tip, I was told. I mentioned it before. I got it off a bloke who claims he drove the van. Don't shoot the messenger. But I think it might have been that they were paupers' graves and they just couldn't, you know, they just couldn't do anything with them. So, because they didn't know who they were. What they should have done really is just put them in a mass grave. Well, what they should have done is probably just not disturb them in the first place, but there you go. Jesus, I'm freezing, everyone. Sorry, not doing very well with the filming today with this brolly, but I'm sure you can understand. Right, so we're going to make our way back to the car now, and I've got something else that I want to show you, and then we're going to look, and we'll say a ghostly grave. Right, everybody, we're outside. Well, you know where we are, Oldham Coliseum. I think this theatre was built in 1888. and people used to come from all over the country and all over the world to play here in the good days, when Oldham used to draw a crowd, if you like. This particular building is haunted by two specific ghosts. One of them is called Harold Norman. Apparently he was on stage one night in Macbeth and he was stabbed, but the knife that was stabbed him, or the sword or whatever it was not a prop, or if it was, it didn't work. So he ended up dying. I think it was 2 weeks later actually, from blood poisoning. He just never got over it. And then the other ghost is the grave that we're going to be going seeing shortly. Now, he is a man called Carl Paulson. Now, he was from up Newcastle way originally, and he's acted in Coronation Street, and he became a director here in the 60s. And apparently he was the first to come in the morning and he was the last to leave at night, and he did used to act as well. And he used to play the part of women mainly, you know, like the dame, the theatre dame, if you like. And since his death, there's been sights. Oh, look at that. Since his death, there's been sights of a woman in black. And many people believe that it's Paul, but we're going to go and find, well, I know where I think I know where his grave is. So we're going to go and see if we can find it. This building at the top here, just out of interest, everybody. I have featured it before in my Oldham Tunnels video. But this is an old funeral parlour. I can't leave my car too long because I'm on double yellows, you know what I like in Oldham. But if you look above the door, right there in the middle, can you see the horse's head? And that was the, it was a funeral parlour when they used to be horse drawn. Well, they still are today, but not as frequently, when they only had horses. And they used to store the bodies in there. And the rumour has it that there's a tunnel called the Death Tunnel that goes from the funeral parlour under what used to be the bingo hall, which is this here, and all the way to Oldham Church. And that's how they used to take the bodies, apparently, to the funeral, through the tunnels. So there you go. Let's go to Grinnickers. So everyone, as you know, I don't normally film graves that are so new, if you like. Carl Frederick Paulson, he passed away in 1973, he was only 48. And it looks like someone's been and left some flowers. So I'm just trying to do this part of the video with a lot of respect, because it's all about bringing back the memories of people, in my opinion, and to give a good round view. And the reason why people have headstones is so that people can remember them. So that's why we're here to see him. But it's rumoured that Carl does revisit the Colosseum on a regular basis. I know people have seen him over the years. So in my opinion, that's quite comforting. I'd love to see some of my past ancestors, to be honest. But yeah, so this is the grave of Carl, and what we're going to be doing now is we're going to move over to a ghost story regarding Oldham Edge. And this ghost story actually came from my mother. And then to round off the video, we're going to do a quick pop in to Trinity Church in Coldhurst, because I just want to show you the bits and pieces from Abraham Crompton. I did a video on it when I did the Oldham Back to Life video a few weeks ago. I did a piece on Abraham Crompton, so I'll get to the church if we can get in. I'll do a piece there and we'll take it from there. Right everybody, I'm sorry, I wanted to do more, but it's just not possible. It's just far too cold here in Oldham. This fence used to be here when I lived round here, and these trees, I used to go to Beaver. Anyway, in front of you, you can see Oldham Edge, and this is a tale dating back to 1973. My mum, she'd been to her friends on Shaw Road, and she was walking home, and they lived on, oh shite, what's it called, this street? This street here, Brackley Street. Lived on Brackley Street at the time. And anyhow, she were walking down the street here, and these trees weren't there then. I'll put a picture of what it did look like. That right up there was where the rope and twine used to be, to give you an idea. But all of these trees They just weren't there. I can remember them not being there. Anyhow, she was walking down and she said she just got past these steps here, which they take you up to Blue Court. She says, and all of a sudden, she went, I noticed something, and there was a figure. She said it was probably about here, at the side of the steps, probably about halfway up in between the trees, but there were no trees there. And the figure just floated, and it stopped. She stopped and looked at it, and then it literally stopped and turned and looked at her and just hovered there. And she said she was frightened to death. She couldn't do anything. She just thought, what the hell? And then she watched it as it literally floated off, up and up the steps. She said it was a white figure. She carried on down there and went home to Brackley, but that was on the other side before they knocked all the houses down. So yeah. So that's going to be the end of the outside filming today, everyone, because I'm freezing. I'm going to go up Royton now, and then on our way back I'm going to call at Trinity Church, see if we can get in, do a bit of Abraham Crompton, the inside, show the inside of that church. Might do that in a separate video, I don't know. And yeah, we'll take it from there.